So we were studying about penicillium. Penicillium is a fungi, and asexual reproduction here, it happens by formation of spores. You can see this is penicillium. The structures on which the spores are formed, the structure that uh, bears the spores is called conidiophore. So this is one conidiophore, and it bears a lot of spores. You can see 3 spores here. So the structure that bears spores is called conidiophores, and the spores are called conidia. And conidia, they via the medium of air, they will disperse and give rise to a new plant body wherever they fall, provided the substratum they have fallen at is conducive to their growth. Next is Hydra. Hydra is freshwater coelenterate, class Hydrozoa. This is parent Hydra. This is the mouth, tentacles, body. And so here at one side, repeatedly cells will start dividing repeatedly and rapidly, and they will give rise to a small little structure called the bud. This bud is initially attached to the parent body, but eventually when it will attain a certain stage of growth and maturity, it will detach from the plant body and develop into a new hydra. Next is sponge. Sponges belong to phylum Porifera. So sponges, they asexually reproduce by gamules. Gamules are internal buds, and they are nothing but asexually reproduced mass of cells. Like in hydra, cells start dividing repeatedly and rapidly, and they give rise to structure mass of cells called gamules. Like you can see, these are gamules, and these are also, they will also disperse by the medium of water and develop into a new sponge. Now let's talk about vegetative reproduction in plants. So asexual reproduction in plants is called vegetative reproduction because vegetative is a term associated with the plants. So there's no difference basically. Vegetative reproduction, you can call it asexual reproduction. And as we discussed, in asexual reproduction, the offspring that is produced is basically a clone of the parent because there is only one parent involved. The genetic material is not altered while being passed down to the offspring, and thus it's a clone of the parent. And there are different depending on depending on the type of plant, there are different types of units of vegetative propagation. Like you will understand this when I'll cite an example. So for example, we have a potato reproduces by these small buds. You must have seen small structures on potato body which are called eyes. These are small little buds which sometime germinate from the potato body. And see, this is a potato, and you can see germinating buds. You can call them eyes also. So when these eyes are cut and they are sown in to soil, they will give rise to new they will give rise to plantlet. So here, what is being used to propagate the plant asexually? There is no other plant involved. There are only eyes involved here. The buds are involved. So these buds are taken off, called eyes. These eyes are taken off and sown in the soil, and so the we can say that the vegetative so we can say that the unit of vegetative propagation here is the eyes. So eyes are the vegetative propagules by which a potato plant is producing asexually. So eyes are vegetative propagules, and depending upon different plants, these vegetative propagules are given some terms. It can get very confusing, but it's very important to pay attention here. So I have given you examples of that. So let's see what all vegetative propagule units are we going to study about. Ginger. So ginger is basically a modification of stem, because a stem is a structure that bears nodes and internodes. And see, you can see this is ginger. These are nodes and internodes. You see, at your home you must have, ginger available, and you can see there are nodes and internodes, and sometimes you can see there are tiny buds coming out of the ginger body, and these buds, they give rise to a new plant. So the vegetative propagule here is going to be rhizome. Bulbils of agave. Bulbils are small bulb-like structures. It's a bulb-like structure of agave plant. So these bulbils are borne by the agave plant. They fall on ground and they form a new plant. Leaves of bryophyllum. See, this is a leaf, and along the margin, adventitious buds. Buds will give rise to. You can see these buds germinating and tiny leaves coming out of it. And whenever, like, if a bud is going to germinate here on the margin, it's going to be only on the margin of bryophyllum, and upon reaching a certain stage of growth, it will fall down and form a new plant altogether. Offset of water hyacinth. It's also called terror of Bengal. It's a weed, aquatic weed, and its vegetative propagule, the unit by which it asexually reproduces, is called offsets. So offset is nothing but a short, thick, runner-like branch. See, this is the offset, and at the tip it gives rise to a new plant. You can see this is a new plant, and it can grow in all directions. Like, it can go here horizontally, vertically, upward, downward, anywhere. It can go anywhere, and at the end, at its tip is going to bear a new plant. Runner. So runners are, for example, plant of mint and strawberries. They are grown by runners. So runners are also called, they are specialized stems called stolons. So they grow horizontally outward and downward from plant and produce baby plants at the tip. Let's see. So this is a runner, this part. This is the parent, mature plant, parent plant, and from here it's going to run horizontally outwards and then downwards, and at the tip it's going to give rise to a new plant. Mint and strawberries. Mint and strawberries are propagated by runners. They're examples of runners. Next is suckers. So sucker is basically the example. Let's see the example first so that you understand it better. Example is rose. You, in the diagram, you see a rose plant, and you don't need to pay attention to this. These are some diseases of the rose plant. So it's produced. So basically, sucker is a plant growth that develops from the rootstock of a plant. So that has undergone grafting. So what is a rootstock? What is grafting? So suppose this is a rose plant, and this is the part of the root. You can see some structures coming out. So if you'll see a rose plant, it's, notice structures going in the soil and coming out of the soil. So rootstock is part of a plant. It's often an underground part. See, this is often an underground part from which new above ground growth can be produced. See, this is basically an underground part, and from it above ground growth can be produced. And what is grafting? So you are going to take the rootstock, the part attached to the root, which is called a rootstock, as I explained to you. And so you will take the rootstock, and you will take a bud like this. These buds. This is a thorn, but you will find similar structures all over the rose plant body. You will take the rootstock, and if you want the same color rose, see, you must have seen roses in different colors. How do they produce those different colors? They take rootstock from one plant, and they will take they will graft it with a different colored plant. So that is how a new colored plant of rose will be formed. So you take rootstock, you take a bud, you graft it, and then you sow that graft, and in some days you'll see tiny leaves will come out of the plant, which is called a sucker. Rose grows like this, apple also grows like this with the help of rootstock. And bulb, so bulbs are basically, as the name suggests, is going to be a round, oval to round structure, fleshy structure. So they are basically underground food storage organs. They have fleshy leaves, they store food, and they can grow and develop into new plants. So like for example, onion and garlic, they are the bulbs and they grow asexually. This is about the first part. Please watch next videos for part 2 and 3. Thank you.